Hello, welcome to video number 2 of General Grievous's Starfighter, of which we have here. This is what we've currently got built. So we've got a nice little cockpit area with a canopy that comes forward and backwards. Now we had missed a piece, if you remember. Here we're supposed to have 2 of these round conical things. We missed one, it was here. If you notice on the other video, it was actually here by the Tetris lamp. So we've got it now, we found it. So let's pop that on. There we go. And then this bit goes on like so. And it's all filled in, all lovely, great stuff. Now then, putting that to one side for 1 minute, and we've got this little thing full of Obi-Wan Kenobi and other bits. Put that under there, like so. We have bag number 2 to open. So what we're going to do, get that done, and then we'll get some Lego built. See you in a couple of seconds. Okay, so we've got our Lego bits. We've got our, I think they're gun holsters, but we'll find out in a second. We've got our book. Let's do some Legoing. So, where did we leave the Star Wars story? With Empire Strikes Back, I think. So yeah, basically, I don't really remember much about watching The Empire Strikes Back. I didn't see it at the cinema. I know that. I definitely didn't see it at the cinema. I saw it for the first time on video, and I believe it was that long ago. It was Betamax video. Sorry, this is quite fiddly. Sorry about this. There we go. It would have been Betamax video. So yeah, that's how long ago that would have been. So this goes round here. And all I really remember about watching it that first time was that the tracking on the video wasn't very good and just wouldn't work. So the first half of it was basically literally not only snow on Hoth, but snow on the actual television as well. Sorry, this is incredibly fiddly and my hands aren't working very well tonight. I do apologise. There we go. And that comes down like so. And these bits go on here. Oh. This is not going very well. I'm sure somebody with more dexterous hands would be brilliant at this. I am not that person. There we go. Pray for me, people. Pray for me. That is fine. And then this bit comes here. There we go. I get it. So it's like a sort of skirt holster thing at the bottom. So then we've got the clone head. It was only got one face. Sometimes they have two, but this one's only got the one. And then he gets his clone trooper helmet, and there's a gun in here somewhere. Where is his gun? His blaster. There we go. And then he gets his blaster. And then we have a clone trooper. Very nice. Liking it. I like clone troopers. I like stormtroopers as well, but I really like clone troopers. Big fan of them. Let's put him with Obi-Wan Kenobi in there like so. Okay, so yeah, so all I really remember is that the tracking was incredibly out on the Empire Strikes Back, and I didn't actually see most of the first part of it. So not great, but obviously I've seen it a million times since then, and it is a fantastic film. It is a really good film, is Empire Strikes Back. I think maybe in the Star Wars fandom it's a bit too revered, possibly, and I can understand why. It's very much of a sea change from the first Star Wars film, which is, you know, I'm not saying it's a kids film, because it certainly isn't a kids film. But it's definitely mature. It's a more mature film than the first Star Wars movie, and it asks a lot more of the watchers. And it's a dark ending. It's not a very happy ending at all. Of all the films, I think it's the darkest ending. Even though it's also quite hopeful as well. It's not sort of bereft of hope. It's not as dark as maybe some people would want you to think it is. What with Lando going off with Chewie to try and find where Han is, even though they kind of know he's on Tatooine, I think, at that point. I don't think the audience necessarily knows that he's on Tatooine. Because we haven't really been introduced, in the original version, we've not been introduced to Jabba the Hutt. People forget that. In the original version of Star Wars, you hear a lot about Jabba the Hutt, and you certainly hear a lot in The Empire Strikes Back about Jabba. But in the first Star Wars movie, you don't hear anything. You see him in the special edition because they added that crappy CGI version of him. And it is crap. I'm sorry. It's not a good version of him. Like I say, I'm quite forgiving of the special editions. Got a little bit of nostalgia for it, having, that's the first time I've seen any of it in the cinema. But seriously, people, that's the one sort of really bad bit. The bit I can't accept. Because in the original film, it's a dude. I don't know if anyone's seen that, or if anybody remembers it now. But yeah, in the original, that's wrong. In the original movie, it's a dude, and like Dermot something, his name is. Not the character. The character is Jabba. But they hadn't worked out what Jabba was. No matter what George wants to tell you, he hadn't worked out who Jabba was at that point. So we'd heard of Jabba, but we hadn't seen him in the original trilogy. So to then have Lando go, oh, well, we're going to get Jabba, we're going to get Han from Jabba. Okay, so we need to bring this in, and this bit goes. These two bits lock into there like so. So let's do that. There you go. Had a nice click. That goes in there like so. Leave that there because I don't know whether we need it. No, we don't need it. Okay, take this away again. On to another piece. Okay, so we need this bit and this bit. I suppose I should also mention about the Star Wars Holiday Special. We didn't get it. Not in this country. We didn't get it at all. I don't think we'd even heard about it until much, much later on, when like sort of the internet became a thing. I wasn't aware of it. I hadn't heard of it. I didn't know anything about it, even as a kid. And I don't think any UK publication basically mentioned it. Which is strange, because you think it would. Even pre-internet, you think it would. But nope, not a sausage, not a thing. We were blissfully unaware. And then you watch it. You go online and you hear about it and you think, I better watch that, hadn't I? Being a Star Wars completist. Now then, this is wrong. This isn't the one we want. We want the other one. This one. Here we go. And you think, as a Star Wars completist, you want to see it. And you know what? It ain't that bad. I know that's probably going to get me kicked out of Star Wars Club. But really, it's not that bad. Ooh. Oh, nearly. I don't even think that's the one we want. I've seen a lot worse things to do with Star Wars. And that's really not one of the worst. It's boring more than anything. It's a boring piece of television. It's a TV executive's idea of Star Wars because, they went to George Lucas in 1977, 1978 and said, tell you what, let's make a variety show based on Star Wars. Even though the variety show was a thing that was dying back then. Okay, so we need to bring in this again. And this goes on here. Like so. Oh, I see. So the whole bit goes on the side. Like so. With my fingerprints all over it. There you go. That fills that out a bit. It looks a bit nicer, doesn't it? Yeah. I'm guessing the next bit is the other side of that. So yeah, you watch it, and at the end of the day, the real crime is that it is quite boring. And it is quite boring at the end of the day. It's very dull, it's very repetitive, much like I am. Because I'm sure I've talked about this. And you watch it and you think, Harvey Korman, what are you doing? You're better than this. B. Arthur, you're better than this. And it's no more offensive than that, apart from people who get really offended by it. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay. The most offensive bit is that porn bit with, is it Itchy? Chewbacca's granddad? Dad? I don't know. I think it's Mrs.'s dad, isn't it? Marla? Is that her name? Marla? And I think it might be her dad. And you watch that and you think, oh, that's dodgy. The bit with Diane Carroll saying, oh, aren't I sexy? And I mean, I'm paraphrasing, she doesn't say that. But yeah, I think we all know what Itchy's up to. He's being a dirty old man, isn't he, basically? And then there's that cartoon with Boba Fett. It's not good, that cartoon with Boba Fett. I think it's good by comparison. I think people watch the Star Wars Holiday Special and they go, oh, it's really good, that Boba Fett bit. But I think they're blinded by the fact that, number one, it's Boba Fett. And for a long time he was considered cool just because he was cool. Obviously Robert Rodriguez has changed that. And he is cool just because he actually does stuff that's cool. There you go. Looking good. I think we've got a wing there as well. I could be wrong. Oh, not quite finished with this. Oh, I see. So yeah, Robert Rodriguez has made him cool, but he wasn't cool back then. He hadn't done anything. You actually look at what he does in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. He doesn't actually do that much, does he? Which is fair enough, you know? He was always supposed to be a character who exuded cool. He was supposed to be a character that was cool because George Lucas said, hey, this guy's cool. And yeah, he never did much. And that was fine, because as kids we didn't care. We had a cool toy of this cool guy who we were told was cool. And we thought, yeah, sure, we'll accept it. We'll accept that he's cool. And for years, we got shit off people for that. We got told, oh, Boba Fett's not cool. Like so, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's cool. There we go. Let's fill that out. That looks a bit more complete, doesn't it? Looks a bit less sort of bare bones. You can see what it's going to be, obviously. So put that to one side, because I think now we're building a wing. So very cool. Can't wait for this to take shape. So yeah, we were told that Boba Fett was cool, and we accepted it because that's what you did. You went, oh, all right, fair enough. And the toy was pretty sweet. The toy looked pretty cool. So you just went, oh, okay, you went along with it. And you did that with loads of toys in the 80s that weren't necessarily cool. But you went, all right, okay, fair enough. And lots of properties as well. Especially all the ones that popped up because of Star Wars. And I am thinking of things like Battlestar Galactica, the original one. And things like Battle of the Planets, which was a pre-existing thing. That Sandy Frank and the Sandy Frank company went, we need something that's Star Warsy. And they said, oh, this is anime in Japan. This is cartoon in Japan. And it looks pretty sweet and pretty cool. And Sandy Frank went, okay. And that's how you got... I mean, the thing about Battle of the Planets, and I'm going to digress here, because it deserves to be digressed. We had a lot of clones, Star Wars clones, back in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, that we would lap up purely and simply because there wasn't enough Star Wars content to go round. And Battle of the Planets was one of them. Now, Battle of the Planets is actually an anime from the 70s that was nothing to do with Star Wars or space or any of that, as far as I'm aware. I don't think any of it ever took place in space. I don't even think there were aliens involved. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there wasn't. It was all set on Earth in the actual tokusatsu anime from 1974, I think it was. And Sandy Frank said, all right then, and just repackaged it. And said, yay, it's spacey. And yeah, it just totally wasn't. And when you look at it as an adult, you can sort of tell the bits that were spacey and the bits that sort of they made, sorry, weren't spacey, but they made spacey. Because every planet, and you notice this as a kid, every planet looks suspiciously like Earth. Oh, but it's an alien planet in space. It's like an Earth colony. That's why it looks like Earth. That's what they used to say to try and make you think as a kid that it was spacey. And it wasn't. But what's the other? They just told lies wholesale on that cartoon. Because it was, like I say, it was an anime. It was for adults, really. And it dealt with adult themes. And it dealt with death a lot. A lot of characters in it died, including one of the main characters, Jason, the black colour-coded Falcon character. For which, I mean, the Falcon was black. He wasn't black. He died. He sacrificed himself. Which he obviously didn't in Battle of the Planets at all. But you know, there were deaths, there were weird things in it. For example, the baddie character, Zoltar, he was a shapeshifter, effectively. He was like he shifted his gender all the time. So he could change from male to female at will. And obviously this was confusing for people back in 1979 to have this character that could do this. I mean, as far as I'm aware, it was like a common trope in Japanese fiction at the time. Where are we looking? Where are we looking? Oh, no, that's wrong. That's white. He goes here. There you go. So yeah, it was a common sort of Japanese trope at the time that really Western audiences wouldn't understand. So they said, it's Zoltar's sister. So whenever you see this female character, it's not Zoltar himself, herself, themselves. It's his sister. And people accepted it. Obviously not later on. But at the time, absolutely. It was just weird. It was just... And Duchess, the princess, sorry, not Duchess, princess, the female character, you constantly got flashes of her knickers because it was Japanese animation from the 70s and it was for adults. And yeah, otaku never change. Otaku stay the same, always. And that's what we got instead of Star Wars cartoons in the 70s. Oh, the other thing is that people constantly died. Like I say, Jason died. But bad guys constantly died. Like all the time. And good guys, where the bad guys would attack it and loads of planes would be sent out to destroy whatever monster that week was menacing. And loads of people would die. And they said, oh, it's... because they had a character in it called Seven Sark 7. And Seven Sark 7 was to fill up time for the networks while they cut loads of adult coded stuff out. So he would take the place of a narrator and say, oh well, it's a good job they were remote control planes. It's a good job there was nobody in those planes and that they were just robots, because that would have been awful had there been people in there. That would have been terrible. And it's just a big lie. It's just a massive lie, because there were people in those planes supposedly and they died. Similarly, G-Force, the superheroes, would kill loads of people. They had like ninja star things that were the shape of birds, and they would throw them at people, and those people would fall down, and those people would die. But 767 would reliably inform us each week that, oh no, there's no need to worry. I mean, they would never kill anybody. All they're doing is knocking people out. No, they're not. They're killing people. But it's supposed to be Star Wars, so we're not doing that. Even though in Star Wars there is a ton of death. In the original one, if you watch the original Star Wars, there is a ton of death within the first sort of 40 minutes. I'm thinking specifically here of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, because I remember when I was a kid, that came out on video, and that would be coded as a U, which in the UK means universal, which means suitable for all. And it would say on the video, suitable for all. Or Simon Bates would come on and say, video cassettes, they have colour codes on them. Those colour codes mean specific things. So PG's got slight swearing in it. 15 means you can say fuck and bugger, and so on and so forth. But universal meant that it was suitable for everybody, and there was no contentious or horrible content on there at all. I would disagree with that, because I would say, yeah, seeing the burnt corpses of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru was not universal, was not suitable for all, and for some people must be quite harrowing, because you see them. You see two burnt skeletons. That's horrific, isn't it? Plus you see all those little Jawa corpses on there as well. That's the other thing everybody always forgets, is that you actually do see Jawa corpses. Lots of them being thrown on a funeral pyre. It's harrowing. It's, you know, it is harrowing stuff. Plus you get to see Princess Leia tortured, although that is nothing. What you see is nothing compared to the NPR version of that. Now, in the NPR version, you have Darth Vader as played by Tony... Oh, I forget his name. He played Sisko's dad on Deep Space Nine. Really good character actor. Not good enough that I can remember his name, apparently. But no, he's a very good actor. And he played Darth Vader. Obviously, it was James Earl Jones that did Darth Vader's voice in the actual films. But in the NPR, the National Public Radio version, it was this guy. And he was good. I mean, he was brilliant. Sometimes he was a bit janky. He wasn't James Earl Jones. But then, you know, it's not a shameful thing. Very few people are James Earl Jones. I'm thinking James Earl Jones is actually James Earl Jones. So, but when he tortures, you actually hear him. You don't see him, obviously, but you hear him torture Princess Leia. And it's harrowing, because he's basically telling her that she's dying, and she believes him, because she's been injected with God knows what from Dr. Ball. I will forever call him Dr. Ball because of Robot Chicken. And if you've never seen that, you need to see it, because it's brilliant. And it's Seth MacFarlane at his very, very best on Robot Chicken. But Dr. Ball injects her with something, some mind stimulant, and she starts seeing visions of things that are happening to her. Body's on fire, the flesh is melting away from your skin, he says to her at one point. She's begging him to stop it, and he won't, even though he's not actually physically doing anything to her, but mentally he's torturing her, and oh, it's harrowing, man. It's proper harrowing. And yeah, NPR had it. I have listened to the NPR versions, and I try and make a point to listen to it every year because it's so brilliant and it's so good. And if you've never listened to the NPR versions of Star Wars, Empire and Jedi, you can probably skip Jedi. It's not great. But the adaptations of the A New Hope, or whatever they're calling it this week, and Empire, they're marvellous. They're a treat. Oh, right. Hard to get hold of though, and expensive if you have to buy them. I didn't buy them. I found other ways to get hold of them. Back in the dim and distant past, when it was basically like the Wild West online, it isn't like that anymore. For better or worse. But yeah, if you can get hold of them, they're fantastic. They're really well acted. Mark Hamill's in them. Anthony Daniels is in them, and you've got some people. I want to say something like Perry Smith is his name, who does Han Solo. Because obviously Harrison Ford wouldn't have been available at that point, or wouldn't have wanted to do it. But this guy is brilliant, and the reason he's brilliant is that he almost got the part of Han Solo. So you're listening to somebody who very, very nearly did become Han Solo and just didn't at the last minute, and Harrison Ford got it because George Lucas thought, well, he's been reading with everybody else as Han Solo and I like the way he sounds, let's just stick with him. But this guy's brilliant. Like I say, Perry Smith, I want to say, or something like that. I could be wrong. I often am. I'm not saying don't listen to me, but I'm saying probably best to check on Google after you've listened to this. I might do and put it on the put it in the notes, so do look out for that. We are getting pretty close to the end of this this bit, and it's going to be one of the wings, obviously. Where are we? That bit goes there, and this bit. But yeah, like I say, Mark Hamill is on there. You got Cisco's dad, who is very, very good. And I'm trying to think, Anthony Daniels, obviously R2-D2 plays himself. The Empire one is just as good, and it expounds on some bits that you won't have heard before. So, and it does fill in a few plot holes as well, because you know the bit on Hoth when Han rescues Luke, and he says, "Oh, he opens up the Tauntaun." Oh, that's wrong. He opens up the Tauntaun and says, "I thought these things smelt bad on the outside and whatnot." And then the next time you see them and they're in the shelter the morning after, you don't see what happens in between. Well, The Empire Strikes Back actually tells you what happens. And Han and Luke have a massive long conversation about Han leaving and Luke not wanting him to and getting angry at him. So he does recover quite rapidly, and yeah, Han tells him off for having a go at him, and Luke tells Han off and says, "Why are you leaving? You shouldn't be leaving." And Han says, "Well, you try living with this hanging over your head. And, you know, all these bounty hunters are actually getting close to catching me, and I don't want them to catch me, because obviously that wouldn't be good." And Luke acts like a petulant child because, you know, Luke Skywalker is a petulant child. It's really good. Jedi. It's 17 years. I think it's 17 years after the Empire Strikes Back was made. The NPR version. That this next version gets made. And Mark Hamill's not doing it anymore, because Mark Hamill's at a stage in his career where he's not playing. He's playing the Joker, so you know he's doing other things now. And the rest of the cast don't want to do it. I think it's only Billy D comes back. Billy D does Lando Calrissian, because Billy D basically will always play Lando Calrissian if he can. So he comes back, but very few of them do. I think the Darth Vader guy comes back. Cisco's dad comes back to play Darth Vader. And I think that's the only recurring cast member who comes back, apart from... oh, no, maybe the Han Solo guy does as well. But it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound the same. It doesn't sound as good. The episode, there's not as many episodes, and it's shorter. The whole production is a lot shorter. 3, there we are. So it's just, something's changed. It's not as good. But one of the weird things about it is that Jabba the Hutt is played by Lou Grant actor Ed Asner, which is weird. I mean, that's a sort of nothing part in the whole scheme of things in the Return of the Jedi. Even in the film, it's a sort of a nothing part, isn't it? But Ed does it. Ed comes back. Now then, that go there. No. Goes. I want to say it goes there. I guess. Okay. Oh, I see. So this bit of... Oh, I see. So yeah, that goes in that little groove there, which is why this can go and attach to that. There you go. Ah, yeah, so it does go there. There you go. Cool. Groovy. So yeah, he's a bit of a nothing part, and yet Ed Asner plays it, and he plays it well, and it's just a bit weird. And this bit goes here, like so. So that should then look like that, 1-to-1. Yeah, blah 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 blah. Yeah, that looks right. Excellent stuff. Put that over there. Okay. But yeah, I would definitely seek out the NPRs. The Return of the Jedi again does have a deleted scene part, and it's the part where after beating Jabba, they're in a sandstorm, and they basically say their goodbyes until they meet up again at the Rebel base just before the attack on Endor. So Luke then obviously goes off and sees Yoda for the last time. Yoda, amazingly, I suppose it makes sense, he was just starting his career pretty much, but for those who don't know, in the NPR versions of Star Wars and Empire, Yoda is played by superstar actor John Lithgow, which is amazing. And you know what? He's not as good as Frank Oz. I know that sounds awful, but it is true. I don't think he's as good as Frank Oz. No then. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's how it goes. I don't think he's as good as Frank Oz, personally. But there you go. I guess you're just that used to Frank Oz doing it, aren't you? At the end of the day. And he played it so well. He is synonymous with Yoda, you know? Apart from Mark Hamill, who's very, very good at playing Yoda. Oh no, it's these ones. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Those bits out of the way. And then we need that bit. Yeah, Mark Hamill does a very good Yoda. And he was doing a very good Yoda back in 1980. There's footage of him actually doing Yoda's voice back in 1980 when promoting The Empire Strikes Back. And he is fantastic. Because, I mean, he always was a voice actor. Some of his very earliest work, Mark Hamill was voice acting. So it shouldn't be a surprise. Like that. Yeah, like that. There you go. And then this bit goes on here. Now then, like that, I think. There you go. That bit goes all like that. Yeah, there you go. We are on the home straight here. We are coming to the end of this. So that goes like that, I'm guessing. And this bit goes there. Yeah, no, that's all right. There you go. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate as well as talk. And it doesn't always work. What do you guys think of Star Wars? Are you watching this because you're fans, or you just like watching me make Lego? Or I would hope that you're fans of Star Wars. I am in a weird position with a lot of it because I'm not all about the taking it seriously. I mean, I do take it seriously. I love Star Wars. But at the end of the day, I'm more than prepared to admit its shortcomings and say it's not the grand catch-all thing that everybody seems to think it is. Got that bit wrong. Don't tell anyone. And say, you know, at the end of the day, it's a bit silly. Are you like that? Are you a bit more sort of beholden to the law of it all? Are you someone who takes it ultra seriously? I am interested to know, you know. Oh, we're nearly finished, lads and lasses, and we're very nearly there. So these bits go here and then go up in that bit there, like so. And whoops, this bit and this bit. These go on here. That goes on there like so. Like that. Oh yeah, I see. Okay. And this jangly bit here. Oh, I see. Oh, yep, got it. So that bit goes on there. And then one of these goes into there, like so. There we are, like that. Okay, and then we've got the what would make a rocket. Back in my day, this would be one of the rocket pieces. Make like a Saturn V-y sort of affair. But at this point, it's doing that. And then turn that up there. We need this bit. We need these two. And we need this long grey thing. And these all go in here because I'm guessing these are going to help connect it to 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Like so. And then one along and then this thing. There we go, and then this one goes in here like so, like that, and then we have 1, 2, 3, and then that bit goes in there, like so. Looks right. Okay. Oh, and then very lastly, this bit should click into there like so. And it does. Oh, look at that. There we go. Excellent. So now we're looking like that. So we know that, and so we know this bit is going to be, the next bag is going to be that bit, and also probably have General Grievous in there as well. Excellent stuff. And we are left with a few bits which we shall put in here, and we do not have the embarrassment this time of losing a piece or not having a piece. And yeah, there we go. So there we are left. Let me get rid of the book so you can see where we are. We have one more back to do. We shall do that next time, but it's coming together nicely, and yeah, looking very, very nice, I must admit. That looks bloody brilliant. Great stuff. Okay, well, I shall see you next time. Until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. Wear your masks, don't drink the bleach. Bye bye for now.